state penitentiary 8 years before. Originally, he'd planned never to come back. There was nothing for him here but that crappy single-wide he'd shared with his brothers and his old man down by the slow, muddy creek. At least, that's what he'd thought. There was more, though. Something he needed to take care of. Some unfinished business that had nagged at him for more than 2,000 days and nights. He could still see her, sitting in the Presidio County Courthouse during his trial, flinging daggers at him with her ice-cold stares. He could hear her voice as she'd testified against him on the witness stand, tear-choked and accusing. It still made his gut twist to think about it, even after all these years. Mitchell had taken his chances by letting the judge decide his sentence, and he'd lost. 7 years. Under the glare of the afternoon sun, sweat popped out on his forehead, and he rubbed at it with the sleeve of his t-shirt. Then he picked up his duffel bag and started walking toward town. His boot heels made a dull, rhythmic thud on the hot asphalt. Julianne, Julianne, Julianne. Oh yeah, he had business here all right. He would finish that business, then move on again. "I'll be goddamn go to hell, Mitch! Is that really you?" Mitchell's younger brother, Darcy Tucker, stared at him from the doorway of the mobile home they'd grown up in. It stood beside an arroyo that saw water about 2 months out of the year. The screen door was just a useless aluminum frame with shreds of old netting hanging from it. "Yeah, it's me." Darcy turned and called over his shoulder. "Hey, old man, look who's here. The prodigal has come home." Mitchell winced at the announcement and at the smells of stale beer, dirty ashtrays, and cooking grease that wafted over him from the dark interior of the mobile home. Within, he heard the clattering of a window air conditioner that sounded as if it were trying to breathe its last, and the low drone of a television. Darcy pushed open the screenless screen door. "Well, come on in, come on in. You know we don't stand on no ceremony around here." Mitchell stepped inside, dropped his duffel bag, and waited for his eyes to adjust to the gloom. Darcy slapped him on the back in welcome. "By God, we've been wondering if we'd ever see you again." From down the narrow hall came the gurgle of a flushing toilet, then his father shuffled into the living room, zipping his fly. "Mitchell? By God, Mitchell, you back?" His old Dickies pants, shapeless blue twills, were held up with suspenders, under which he wore a dingy gray tank top. Yeah, Earl for a while anyway. Earl Tucker shook Mitchell's hand and squeezed his arm. He saw a brief glimmer of emotion replace the usual anger in his father's faded eyes. God, the old man looked as if he'd aged 30 years. He was nearly bald, shriveled and shorter, and his grin revealed a few missing teeth, too. Even Darcy was skinny, leathery, and hard-looking, especially around the mouth where deep lines had begun to form. Up the length of one arm ran an old-style tattoo that rivaled those Mitchell had seen in prison. It was an image of a snake wound around a sword. In its fangs, the viper held a banner with the inscription, "Born to Raise Hell." His other arm featured an equally sinuous naked woman that strongly resembled Marilyn Monroe's famous calendar photo. "Sorry we didn't get up to see you and Amarillo very often," his father said. "You came twice in 7 years." It was a sore point with Mitchell. He'd taken all the blame for the crime. The least his family could have done was visit now and then. "Twice? No, that can't be right." For a moment, Earl Tucker couldn't meet Mitchell's gaze. "It is." "Huh. I'll be. It seems like the time just flew by," Darcy commented. Mitchell supposed that depended on which side of the razor wire a person lived on. "When did you get out?"